Representing LSE, we have Michael McMahon. He's associated with the Centre for Macroeconomics and the Centre for Economic Performance at the LSE. He's a professor at Warwick University and he's worked with the Bank of England.
The next 12 months are going to be a particularly interesting time for the UK economy. On the positive side, I expect the domestic private recovery to continue, and in particular I'm quite optimistic that productivity, which has until recently been surprisingly weak, should start to recover quite quickly over the next year. There are a few clouds though hanging over the next year economically. On one hand, you have a very weak euro area. There's also disruption as we see in Russia. All of these things could, of course, impact the external environment, and this is an important external environment for UK trade. The other cloud is the election. While I don't expect much on the fiscal policy side before May next year, after May, there's likely to be bigger spending cuts or tax rises or some combination of both, which are likely to provide a drag on the economy in the second half of the year. But overall, in terms of GDP, I do see that growth should continue over the next 4 quarters. Going with that, and again somewhat positively, I expect unemployment to continue to fall. I expect it to fall less quickly than it has been recently, but that's partly because some of the gains to economic growth are going to come through productivity gains. So while that is going to mean less falls in unemployment, and my best guess is that unemployment will be falling towards 5.5% only towards the end of 2015, the positive of the productivity gains is that we should continue to see wages growing faster than inflation. And in particular, this means that sort of take-home pay in real terms is going to be growing over the next year. This has been particularly weak for the last few years, but I expect over the next 12-15 months that real wages should grow 2 to 2.5%, which is making up some of the lost ground since the financial crisis. Inflation is going to be weak, helping that real wage growth, driven largely by the reverse of what we saw in 2012 and particularly 2013. Lower oil prices, lower commodity prices. These are a drag on inflation. As well as that, the weakness in the euro area also exports some weaker inflation into the UK. So I actually think that the Governor of the Bank of England, Mark Carney, will be writing letters to the Chancellor of the Exchequer to explain why he's missed the inflation target on at least 3 or 4 occasions in the next 12 months. Going towards the end of the year though, I do see inflation start to normalise and head back towards the Bank of England's target of 2%. Because of the weakness of inflation, it's going to give the Bank of England's Monetary Policy Committee a chance to not raise interest rates too soon. And I don't see them raising interest rates until a first increase of 25 basis points in August of 2015. So I think that they will sit and watch this data, and unless the numbers, particularly on inflation, start to come in much higher than I expect, then I think they're going to sit it out and they're going to watch until towards the end of 2015 before they start to normalise interest rates.